Welcome to Raider Reach. This is the podcast where we reach out to our school community and beyond to share the inspiring story of our Raiders. From the classrooms to extracurriculars, we'll explore the people, events, and moments that make this district unique. Thanks for joining us today. Let's dive on in and tell our Raider story. My name is Meagan Hogg, and I am the District Director of Communication and Community Partnerships. And I am so excited today as the host of Raider Reach. And today I have the two of the coaches of the Lumberton cheer program, Chelsye Hernandez and Meagan Scales. And then I also have one of our senior head cheerleaders, Parker Powell, joining me today. And they're going to share a little bit about some exciting things that have happened in our cheer program here in Lumberton, and notably their first national UCA championship. So I'm excited for them. Welcome, guys.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Yay. Yay. We're all excited to be here. No, I really am. I really am excited. And sometimes people ask me all the time, why are you so happy? Well, I'm like, I don't know. I've just always been like this, but probably a lot of it attributes to the fact that I was a cheerleader and you just sometimes you can't shake it. So I love that you guys are going to be telling your story today, and people get a behind the scenes look at what it takes and the preparation leading up to a competition and what other things that you guys do during the year. And I think that's really cool that they're going to be able to hear your side of the story. So let's get started. We'll start with you, Chelsye Hernandez. Tell us a little bit about your educational or professional journey to get you to where you are now.
Okay. I am a graduate of Lumberton High School, graduated in 2005. I was in band, played clarinet after high school. I went to Stephen F. Austin, where I got Axum Jacks, where I got my teaching certificate and came to Lumberton, started in Lumberton in 2010. And I started coaching in 2012 after my then principal, Miss Stringer, asked me if I would step in. And she was a woman who was really hard to say no to. So I found myself in something that I had never done before.
And I probably should have been like, but I was like, yes.
I should have thought about it a little bit. Well, I say that, but really I shouldn't have.
I said yes.
Well, I should have thought about it, but I was just like, yeah, sure. I was young, eager. I wanted to learn things, and I'm glad I didn't say no.
Yeah. So a lot of things you learned, and a lot of your story is
a lot of lifetime memories and experiences, and it definitely shaped me in who I am now and who I'm going to be as I continue teaching.
Yeah. Awesome. And so tell me a little bit about what you teach.
I teach 7th grade math and pre-algebra. I love it. I actually had left the math classroom for a couple years. I went and taught technology applications, which I enjoyed. It was fun. It's creative. A lot less stress.
Because there's no STAR test.
There's no test. No testing at all.
Yes.
You just kind of, glide through every day, and that really is not my personality. I don't glide well. I need structure. I need something to do. I need a schedule.
Challenges.
Goals, yeah. And I love a challenge, and I love learning. And while I was learning in the Tech Apps classroom, I didn't feel like I was making an impact on kids the way I know I can. So I went back to math this year, and while I have been utterly overwhelmed, I'm so glad I went back. I have missed teaching in the math classroom.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to be back there.
Yeah, and that's how you and I,
yes.
We met in high school, but
we
knew each other in high school, but here when I came back to Lumberton, we
were
taught in the math department at the middle school, so we have that path, that cross there too. So I understand what you're saying about math too, and I know for sure the middle school is very glad whenever you step back into the math world, because you are an excellent math teacher.
Well, thank you.
Yes. All right. Well, Meagan Scales. She has a great name and spelling. It's very hard to come by these days. The Meagan, same as me, if you didn't. People don't know that. So tell us a little bit about your educational, professional journey to get you to where you are now, which is an exciting story.
I am originally from Tennessee. I graduated from the University of Memphis. My original teaching certification is in K through 6.
Okay.
But I've always had a passion for English, so I went back to do my English degree or my English certification. I've always taught English. I teach English 2 and AP language at the high school. I actually ended up being a cheer coach on accident. I was a sponsor for track.
Hopefully it wasn't the name thing. They're like, oh, Meagan.
It wasn't.
Yeah,
No.
Okay. Yeah. We'll put her
but
in there.
it was a word confusion. In Tennessee, when you're a sponsor for a program, you do all the administrative paperwork, but you don't do the actual coaching.
Okay.
So when Travis Edgerton said, hey, would you be interested in sponsoring cheer? And I was like, oh, sure. I've sponsored track and cross country. Love that. Then Chelsye Hernandez called me that summer and said, hey, I hear you're going to be coaching with us. And I'm like, oh, no. Hold on. There's been some kind of a mistake. I'm only supposed to be the sponsor. And she's like, no, those are the same word. Like sponsor and coach are the same. And I was like, oh, I think something has happened. And I was like, hey, I tell you what. She's like, we just actually need somebody. And if you're interested, we'd love to have you. And I was like, you're literally going to have to teach me everything. And that's what she's done.
Awesome. I love that story. And our other featured guest today is a student, which we love having here on the podcast, and that's Parker Powell. Parker, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're involved in outside of cheer, and maybe some hobbies that you have.
Okay, so I am a senior in high school, very close to graduating, super excited about that.
Woo!
So basically a little backstory, I started cheering my 8th grade year just for fun,
I
had
remember.
some friends trying out and they told me to try out too. And I've always been involved in a lot of other sports and volleyball, track, and right now I'm still in track. That's the last sport that I have before the school year ends. But so I was involved in a lot of other stuff, and cheer was just on the side for me really. But over time, those people on that team became my closest friends, and there were so many hours put into it that it definitely became my number one priority.
Yep.
And when I really started to love it, I realized that it wasn't on the side anymore and it was my sport, you know? And I like staying involved in other things, but now if you were to ask me freshman year what sport I would pick, or even middle school, I wouldn't have said cheer to stick with. But now I would pick it over anything for sure.
Yeah.
But, yep. I am planning on attending SFA.
Oh,
Excellent.
yeah.
Yep. And I am not doing any sports in college, which is pretty sad, but I think my journey ends here.
Yeah.
But I am,
That's okay. You can play intramurals if you feel the need.
Yes, definitely want to do that.
Yes.
But I am majoring in sports business and sports media. Hopefully working with ESPN or something like really cool and crazy like that one day, just so I can stick with the sports without actually being in it, you know? So.
Well, this might blow your mind a little bit, but I also did the same thing, and I went to college and knew I was okay with not playing sports anymore, doing cheer. I felt like I'd had enough of all that in high school, but I did play some intramurals, so that was kind of fun. But I majored in sport management, and I did that because I also had a desire to want to stay in contact with that part of my life. My dad was a retired coach, so that had been just a major part of my life. Ended up doing an internship at the UIL and worked there for 3 years. And then that's honestly why I started coaching and then teaching too. But people, when they ask you questions like, if you could do one other thing for a day and anything was possible, I always tell them, I want to be an ESPN sideline reporter for college football. I don't want to do that for a whole career because it's not very family friendly, I would think. You know? Well, I had a front row seat, a little bit a part of your journey in cheer, and I can totally recall back when you're talking about kind of your evolution of your cheer journey, those stages for you, and just to see you shine and become such a great leader has been rewarding on this side of things. So I'm really proud of you, Parker.
Thank you.
All right, so let's talk about cheer. First of all, congratulations on winning our first national championship in Lumberton. So can you take us through that winning moment? Let's talk about that moment. So if you're not, and people aren't familiar with the cheer world, they've never watched it on ESPN or whatever, you do your competition on a stage, you know, whatever, with mats, And then at the end of the competition, everybody kind of gathers with their team and sits really close together on the floor. And then they do their little awards presentation in the middle. And it's very nerve-wracking. Okay?
They take forever.
And they take forever to tally the scores. And they play weird music and try to get you to dance and whatever else to get your mind off things. And then you're just like, okay, can this just happen already, right? And then everybody gets really nervous. And they start from like the top 10 or something. I mean, it's different probably at every competition. And then you're just hoping you don't hear your school's name called. And then it might sound really close to it. And you're like, oh, it wasn't it? Yay, we're still in, maybe. Mm-hmm. So they get down to the top 3. Did they make a big deal out of the top 3 at UCA where they give out awards?
Yeah, they ran through the first several, like, congratulations, 7, 6, 5, 4. And then in your top 3, and they announce 3, a little wahoo, and then they take quite a bit of time between 2 and 1 because once they've announced 2, you know who first is.
Yeah.
So they announced 3, and I think we were all just kind of sitting there like, what?
Well,
so we're top 2.
There was a tie.
There was a tie.
Oh, there was a tie.
That was really nerve-wracking.
There was a tie, but then. Like you know, but you don't know because you've done all of this and like where you sit in your heart. But we've also been in situations where
your name isn't
we
called at all.
and then we didn't know. So it's like you're just holding your breath and you're waiting. And like I was standing there in that particular moment, knowing everything that I had put into it, knowing everything that the coaching staff, me and Meagan and Lindsay Thomas, our competition coach, like knowing what all we've done, but also like I remember very specifically standing there and taking a really, really, really hard look at the people in front of me.
Yeah.
And just being like, we're here. Like, we have done this. Mm-hmm. And knowing all of the hard work that we put in, and just I really, in my head, I was like, I want to take in them.
Yeah.
Right now.
Like, you want to store this memory.
Yes.
Yes. In this moment.
And there's a lot of things about that moment that I remember.
Yeah, that's good.
Like, individual faces or, like, how they reacted. But, I wasn't just thinking about those kids right then and there. I also thought about all of the kids that I had been there with before.
Yep.
Because I feel like I made it there, but it wasn't me. It was them 100%. Mm-hmm. It was my coaches 100%. But it was also the kids before them who taught me lessons that I applied this year or who pushed me to do better in previous years. So I remember thinking about several of them in that moment right there. I was terrified, but I was also so excited. And then for them to say Lumberton, it was just like, it was wild.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so wild because, I mean, this is something I have chased for years. Like, the first year that I coached was 2014. I was with Cheryl Dunham. Mm-hmm. We placed 3rd that year. Mm-hmm. And it was amazing. Like, 3rd place was awesome. And then, you never really know with how competitions go.
Yep.
And we had pretty tough run in years before.
Because it's a judged event. Mm-hmm. You don't know what they're looking for.
You're completely at the mercy of them and what they want. You never really know.
Nope.
But, being in the judge's hands and then knowing, but not knowing, and then them saying it, it was just alleviating, but also exciting. Like,
were you like, oh my gosh, they just said it for real? Like, it confirmed it,
Okay, Parker's reaction was one of my favorites.
The video of
I've seen the video. The video's so great.
I couldn't even stand. I don't know what was going on.
I need to watch it again now.
There was so much ugly crying just because everyone was so overwhelmed. I think we watched it 25 times.
It looks like every weighs 100 pounds because my knees are buckling.
Yay! I can't even lift this.
But I mean, I was like, it's kind of weird because, like she was saying, like we haven't had as great of luck as that, obviously, in the past. Like, we've never done something like that. But even last year, like, was really amazing, like, in my opinion. I mean, we got 7th last year at Nationals, and we were so excited. And I didn't think that the team could get any better than that, seriously. And so this year, like, I knew how good we were and how strong we were together. But even when they got down to top 3, you never know. And I was still a little scared. Like, everyone behind me was excited. I had no thoughts.
Yeah.
I literally was just like, I can't react until I hear Lumberton.
Yeah.
Like, but it was really awesome for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. I hope that I think you're always going to remember that moment, and you have the video evidence to back it up,
Yes.
which is even better, because that's always going to be something special that you'll want to share with your kids and your students and everything else in the future. And it's definitely going to be a core memory that you're going to always look back on. So before we get back into like what does it look like to get to that point, I just want to take a little bit of time and explain what you guys were able to do. So in the cheer world, there's some people know about all-star cheer. Okay, so that's like your cheer towns and your other gyms around here those are private gyms, and they have their own cheer teams, and they have their own standards for tryouts and how they place people in levels and whatever. Okay, well, in the school side of things in Texas, we have the University of Interscholastic League, also known as UIL, and it's probably been about 7 or 8-ish years, 9 maybe, that they started a spirit contest. So they kind of absorbed it into their sports or athletics, I guess, and so we have that, and then we've also had for a long time UCA, which is Universal Cheerleader Association. That's the biggest nationwide, the most prominent.
Montana, Tennessee, Florida,
Yes.
New York.
And they have to qualify at a regional,
Yes.
competition.
Correct.
So you don't just get to go to nationals if you can fundraise and afford it. You have to have a bid to go, and to get that bid, you have to go to a regionals competition and score high enough.
Yeah.
And that's no cakewalk either.
No.
Because that's not guaranteed ever. No. So, and a lot of people try and they don't get there. So there's that part of it too. But there's also different divisions. What you guys did was game day. Do they still call it game day?
Yes.
Okay, and that's really, I love it because it's so geared towards school cheer now. It separates what all-star cheer gyms do and then what school cheer should do, and it's all about boosting spirit and crowd,
getting the crowd to want to stand up
crowd
and cheer
engagement.
back.
Yes, right. So I love it. And so, Parker, tell us a little bit about what the different components are in that performance y'all did.
Like what we're judged on,
Yes.
basically. Like the biggest part of it is our spirit, because we are in a game day category, so we're trying to get the crowd involved and do something that people really want to see and can follow along with at a football game.
Yeah. So you're using signs, you're using props.
Yes. It's also based off of your execution and a little bit of your difficulty, but they really just want something that is really involving and looks good on the field or the sideline.
And then there's the band chant. Do they still call it band chant? Okay, so
you do your
first
band
thing you
chant.
do is your band chant.
Your band chant, which is a little more dancey kind of, and that starts out your routine. You get to pick your own music. It's definitely my favorite thing to learn. Super cool choreography. And then you go into your sideline, and that can be difficult sometimes because at a real competition, they call out the call over the loudspeaker, which tells you
situational based.
Yes, offense or defense.
Right.
So you have to pay attention, but also keep spiriting and keep up the.
And you have to know if you have the ball, then that's offense.
Yes.
And a lot of people think cheerleaders don't know these things, and as part of it is that you have to know. If they say there's a first down, that means, offense, I got to do my offense cheer. If they say we need to hold them or put a stop or whatever it is, we have to know that's defense and we're going to do our defense cheer. There's two different cheers.
Yes, and so we use signs and everything in that too. We do that throughout the whole routine. But so in our sideline, we wait for the call, and then it also changes up your cheer a little, like the words that you're saying and things. So it could change from competition to competition, whatever. And then we go into our cheer, which is also a really awesome part. And it's not just like the cheer you would do like at a football game. It's a lot longer, way more skills put into it, signs. And
standing, tumbling.
Yep. And, flags too. Flags are awesome.
Flags are...
And so there's our cheer, which is a big part of us. Blue, it's awesome. And then our fight song, just our traditional fight song that you hear everywhere, but sometimes we change up the choreography a little bit and just make it a little more...
eye-catching and appealing. Yeah.
And for people who don't know, it's all under 3 minutes, so it's all one thing. Like, you don't just go out, obviously, and do each one, so it's a lot harder.
Without stopping.
Yes.
And so you have to make sure you're under the time limit. You have to make sure your music plays correctly. And coaches, you're in charge of the music. And let me tell you, that is, were you in charge of that, Meagan?
Yeah.
It's so nerve-wracking. That was the control freak in me. I couldn't pass it off. That's probably, I needed to do that. But
Chelsye Hernandez was more than happy to hand that off.
oh my gosh.
2 years ago, she's like, hey, here you go. And it is like, there's a reason why there's like TikToks and stuff about like it's like detonating a bomb. Like you're like scared to hit that button, but if you don't hit the button right,
and if you get too excited while you're caught up in the emotions, if you like double hit it and it stops, oh gosh, because then that could extend the time. Also could affect how they do in their performance. And you get deductions if you go over the time. There's lots of variables. But
and let me just add, again, for the people who have never done this before, it is very hard, like for people in the audience who might not know a whole lot about cheer and like what we're performing exactly. It is only 3 minutes, so it doesn't look like it would really, like we come off like falling over, like we're about to die. But coming from me, who I do other sports, I mean, I do track, I run way longer distances for a longer time than this, like do a lot harder things, but it's competing is by far one of the hardest things.
I think it's almost like, it's similar to me about a sprinter going at a sprint speed for a mile. I mean, like that's hard to do because you're having to keep that energy up. You can't just settle in, you know what I mean? You can't settle into your pace. You can't, and then just like start and end well. The whole thing has to be up the whole time. So that's
what we taught you. Build on every element of it. Like keep going, keep pushing, keep building.
Yeah.
Like primacy and recency. You want to come out with a bang and get them to look at you and be like, oh my gosh, but you also want to end on a bang.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, there's no down in it.
No,
you just
there's
keep
not.
going.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about when do you start preparing for this event? When did y'all learn your choreography?
August.
really our stuff starts at
camp or before camp.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
and this year we're actually even doing a master's camp, which is specifically
oh
for
yay,
camp day,
that's exciting.
But it starts during camp, like building all of those skills really starts then.
Having all those conversations, like what do we want to do?
Who's in?
What do the cheerleaders want to see from it? Music suggestions, because they have opinions, and if they don't buy into it, then
And even building those bonds, starts there.
Something that I love that you guys started was offering a different tryouts for comp than for school cheer. And we have lots of great, talented cheerleaders on our high school team who also play other sports. And sometimes the competition season conflicts with that. And so it gives them a chance to say, hey, I know I can't do both 100%. So I'm going to do comp this year, or I'm going to do focus on my sports during this time. And that's okay. And it also lets them have a chance to say, like, where am I right now? Am I committed? That I need to know. You set the expectation as coaches, right? Like you have to be all in. And so they know they have a chance to reflect on where they are, and sometimes they don't want to do comp cheer, and sometimes they do, and you'll have tryouts to see who makes the mat. If you've seen like cheer, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
But is that? Do y'all want to elaborate more on that, or is that kind of how that went this year?
Best decision ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like you said, like they kind of discover if they do or if they don't, and there is a whole lot of discovery about who you are and what you want and what you can do during that whole entire process. The tryout session, like we already know who's on the cheer team. Like we know we have our Thursday and Friday night groups.
And your pep rally kids, like everybody.
We have all of those set, but the tryout really kind of gives us a chance to look at what the possibilities could be, who could go where, what's the best fit for like this particular makeup of athletes. And then it also kind of gives those kids a chance to evaluate, like, is this what I want to do? Because it's a lot.
Yeah,
like it's a
big
very big commitment.
Yeah, y'all are practicing during holidays. You're practicing, because
a lot.
For sure. Because you guys do UIL in January, and then a couple weeks later is when y'all went to nationals.
Yes.
So you're having to make sure you're not getting too rusty during the Christmas break, and you gotta. There's a lot of priorities that you have to set. I mean, it's probably very difficult to have a full load of other sports or a job and all the things. So you kind of have to manage those things.
Yeah, but I mean, this particular group and a couple of groups, like, they're very impressive with the amount of stuff. Like, I think you had said it whenever we're kind of chatting about it, like they're definitely overachievers,
Yeah.
which I love, because I mean you're not going to do anything but succeed whenever you have a group of overachievers that come together.
Yeah, because excellence is always their mindset.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're all, as a whole, they're very hard on themselves. The whole entire group is just competitive, which as a coach, yes, but as someone who's watching these kids grow and who loves them because of their loves them as people, sometimes I want to be like you're really hard on yourself. It's okay. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, actually, it's not. Do more. Do better. Because I'm right there with them. Like the overachiever.
Not settling.
No,
not being complacent.
No, not at all. And
Yeah.
I mean, nowhere to go but up whenever you're not going to settle.
Yeah, I
so
love that.
that's what that group does.
And we have some of the top students in cheer. Like, they're all very smart. They're
in
all
advanced classes.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of advanced classes, but there's also like a lot of them that really prioritize cheer, but also like are students first and do all of the other things like NHS and student council, so many other sports. I mean, they're just all so well rounded that like I can't think of one of them that doesn't have something else that could take a priority in their lives, and sometimes does, but cheer has, like, they really prioritize cheer as well as everything else, which is amazing to me, because I'm over here like I'm teaching and I'm cheer coaching and I'm tired.
Yeah. Well, I think that just really makes you guys and those girls and your team, and you had Josh too, as great ambassadors for the school district too, because they are so well rounded. They're representing so many different aspects than just cheer. So that's great. Okay, so how do you build those endurance skills? Parker, you talked about it's 3 minutes, but it's 3 minutes of super amped up energy. What do you guys do to build up that endurance?
Well, in the past, it was a little harder, I'd say, because this year we started conditioning like every other sport, and I think in the beginning some of my teammates strongly disliked me for wanting that to happen, but in the end we were all very excited about like what the working out had given us. Like, we had
the
so
progress
much more
that you made.
endurance. Yeah, and I mean, we all want to be treated like a sport anyways, so might as well do what everyone else does. And cheer, even the girls, they're still conditioning, and they condition very often, more than normal sports do, actually. But so that definitely helped us get ready. I also just think that another way that we prepared better was we had long practices and a lot of them, but there wasn't much negativity either. Like, it feels like we practiced so much more this year than we have any other year, but that's not really it. It's just that we all wanted to be there each time, and we actually worked the whole time.
The practices were quality.
Yes, and everyone gave 100%, and like that's another reason I love the comp team, is because the people on that team are the ones that really, really want it. And there's nothing wrong with not doing comp team. Like, I love cheering on the sidelines too. People got things going on. Some people are new. They don't even know what competition is, and it is a lot to come into. So it's not for everyone, but it's a lot better when those people that tried out just to cheer on the sidelines aren't forced to put in all these hours and stuff for competition too. But another big part that made it, even though every grade and every girl on the comp team this year really wanted it, the senior group was really large, and most of us had been together since freshman year, and we've never had a bad year or anything, but we didn't get exactly what we wanted from the beginning, and so every year it got a little better. And this year we really all tried to put in the work and keep everyone else motivated, because we've lived it and we wanted as much as we could get.
Your last shot, and you wanted it to be the best.
And we got it, so there's not much farther
it paid off.
to
It paid off.
I will say that we have to give a shout out to
last year's
last
year's seniors really set the tone for this year's seniors, and they saw how great it could be, and that led these seniors to be great leaders as well. Because like we had some really great seniors last year, which helped build them to be what they did this year.
And that's awesome. I think that's great that y'all are recognizing them, because I mean some of them even came and watched y'all at UIL in Fort Worth. They came and they probably have been some of your biggest fans, which makes my heart happy.
And that gives us a lot of hope for the next year's seniors, because they saw how.
And then you get to take that place, and you get to be the cheerleader for the cheerleaders. That's what I always said whenever I left the coaching part of it, I said, I can't totally take myself out of everything, but now I get to be a cheerleader for the cheerleader program, you know, so.
Always be their biggest fan.
Yes, yeah, that's awesome.
I had wanted to add on to what you had said. Like, we had tried to implement the conditioning in years past, but just couldn't ever get it right, or couldn't find the time, or like, I didn't have what we needed there. And I knew that we needed more. Y'all knew that we needed more, and this senior group pushed for it hard. But we also had a key player come in this year who just made it happen, and that was Coach Burkhalter. He's the conditioning coach here at the high school.
Wow, that's awesome. I
and
love that.
He came in and he put together a regimen for them, and you know, he was there from the beginning with us, making sure that the conditioning, like physically, that part happened. So, you know, whenever I see them go on the mat, like, I know how hard those 3 minutes are. I know how much it takes. But one of the things that I really enjoyed was that's actually not an obstacle for us this year. It's not about the physical demands of what we're about to do. At this point, you just let your muscle memory take over. You do what you know how to you do what you know to do. You do what you've been doing. You trust your body. You trust your teammates. At this point, it becomes emotional and mental. Yeah. And, like, those are the two hurdles that we overcame this year, just because we had taken so much beforehand physically doing all the conditioning that they did.
That's awesome. Okay. So teamwork and leadership are essential in cheer. And what role did you talked about your senior leaders being a really strong group. Parker, you talked about how y'all are a strong group together. How do you feel like, what are some things that you guys did during the season that helped you achieve that milestone and keep everybody motivated? Did y'all do like team dinners or social things together?
We did a few team dinners, but really we didn't have to do a whole lot of planning because we are all friends already. I mean, we hung out and saw each other all the time, and also practices during the week and the weekends. Like, we were all together all the time anyways. But no, we saw each other all the time, and even just on a regular hangout, we would be talking about cheer and like everything that we want for this year. And the more you talk about it, it really like became real. And even like down to the freshmen, like I consider them some of my best friends. And I'm so thankful for the bond that we created by also having this comp team. Like, it really kind of like makes your circle a little smaller, I guess. Even though the team's really big, like those are your people for comp season, you know? And so we definitely all saw each other all the time, and it's going to be really hard to part ways for sure.
Yeah. Well, now you're a part of this group called Lumberton Cheer Alumni.
See you next year there, Parker.
Yeah. I mean, and it's more than just the homecoming game, but it's just, it's a group of people that you can always count on to support the program going forward, because I can't think of anybody that doesn't want the program to keep succeeding. They all feel tied to it, and so I think that's a really awesome part. But Parker, like I said earlier, really proud of you and your leadership and how you've really blossomed in that area. And I think definitely you've left a legacy that is something you should be proud of. So I'm proud of you for that, and you know, just keep being that cheerleader in other aspects of your life too. And like I told my cheerleaders whenever we won state, I said, don't let this be the best thing that ever happens to you. One day, you know, you might have a family of your own, and those moments are going to be amazing, and they should be more important than even that moment in your life. But it's always going to be something that you look back on with pride and you know, good memories like we've talked about. But it's a springboard for the awesome things that are to come. So proud of you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll do our little Fab Five questions then, just to take a little break. Okay, so we're going to do our Fab Five questions. These are 5 quick fire questions that we ask our guests to kind of get a peek into their personality. The first one we ask everybody, and that tells us a little bit more about who you are outside of cheer. So we'll start with that one. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us about one random object in your classroom that has a story behind it. Maybe it can relate to your why, but it doesn't have to. It could just be random.
Okay, so I have puzzles. That's like what my decor theme is. It's really not anything. I have stuff in my room.
Yeah.
But I have several puzzles on my wall, and they're all like 1,500, 2,000 piece puzzles. They're big puzzles.
Yeah.
And, you know, my kids are like, oh, you like puzzles? And I'm like, yeah. And then at the beginning of the school year, we do an activity where I give them a puzzle. It's not put together, that it doesn't come in the box. It just comes in a clear plastic baggie. And the lesson behind it is, like, I give them the puzzle, put it together, but you can't talk. And so they sit there and you know, they'll try to start saying words, or they'll try to, like, communicate silently. I'm like, no, there's no communication. You are just puzzling. That's all you're doing. And then I give them, like, 35-piece puzzles, like, you know, the top.
Yeah, they can do them. Yeah.
They can do them.
Yeah.
But they don't get the picture. They don't get the box, anything. And I'm like, okay, so is there something that would help you move forward in your puzzle completion? You know, every now and then you'll get one or two. Like, we need the picture. Okay, here's the picture. But you can't talk. Mm-hmm. So we continue through this process of, like, building on what would help you. And then at the end of it, you know, at some point within the 35, 40 minutes, they finish and figure out how to do their puzzle. And the conversation we have is, if you did not, like, if you hit that first roadblock of, I don't have a picture, I don't know what to do, this puzzle's hard, and you just stopped, would you ever get to the point where you have a completed puzzle? Mm-mm. Like, no. Okay, along the way, like, getting to that completion point, was it hard? Yes. Did you finish it? Yes. If you had quit, would you have finished it? Well, no. Mm-hmm. And so, and I take that lesson the very, you know, first day that I get to teach the kids, and I remind them of that, if it's in, like, a one-on-one conversation, or if they really just need, like, an overall reset, like, hey, 7th grade math is hard. Mm-hmm. Like, out of all, maybe not all the maths, but middle school math, 7th grade math it's just...
100% agree. I tell people that all the time. It is. It's
so many things.
Diverse.
Yes. And, you know, like, they don't want to learn math. And that, like, I get it. Math made me cry. And I tell them, math made me cry. It was hard. But if you don't stick to it, if you don't try, if you don't reach out for help, or if you don't use the resources you have, you're not going to finish it. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to get better at it. And the whole entire point that we have in my classroom is to grow. Mm-hmm. So that's my random object is all of my puzzles. And I'll point to them, like, you know, I have a kid, like, I'm not doing this. I don't want to do this. I'll just kind of point to my puzzle. And I'll be like, would I finish that if I didn't keep going?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, no.
Yeah.
Okay, then keep going. I know it's hard.
Awesome.
Like,
you also have you have several things in your room that you could pick from, because you do have some really interesting items. I like your Star Wars stuff. Yeah. I don't know if you saw all that.
I do. I have all my
all your cheer stuff.
I
mean,
well,
there's
that's
so
what
many
I was
things.
telling her. I was like, I don't know if I want to do my puzzles or if I want to do my jackets, because I have my letter jacket hanging up, because I'm a proud graduate of Lumberton, mm-hmm. And then I have my 2 NCAA National Championships with my middle school team. We won back-to-back national championships with NCAA. And then I had this one hook that has been empty for years. And every now and then I would have a kid who would be like, Miss Hernandez, what goes on that hook? Well, that hook, I'm waiting. A white satin jacket is supposed to go there. I'm just waiting. And I got to hang my white satin jacket up this year. And I had a kid this year, Miss Hernandez, you finally put a jacket there. I was like, yeah, we finally won. But yeah, I mean, I have a lot of things. I just, like, I want them to know who I am. I want them to have some way to tie to me. Yeah. Because if they kind of can relate to me, they might learn something that they don't want to learn. Yeah. And most of them don't want to learn 7th grade math.
That's true also. Love that. What about you, Meagan?
Okay, so I have Gertie the Goose, and she's my porch goose. So I'm obsessed with all the weird things. I have pencils with names, because if my students get tied to the pencils with names, they'll keep up with them. And but Gertie the Goose is a recent addition. I got it for Christmas for my husband. She has outfits. She has a personality. She lives her whole life. So
I'll have to come visit.
It depends on the season. Right now, she's in a bunny outfit for Easter.
The goose dressed up as a bunny. I love that.
Well, she just came out of her leprechaun outfit for St. Patty's Day.
Right.
So.
Okay. She's going to her next season. Love that. Okay, so Chelsye, you kind of covered this, but how did you first get involved in cheer? You just pretty much got pressured.
I have the inability to say no.
And then
actually same.
And that's how you did too. Okay. Yeah. All right. If you weren't a cheer coach, what other sport or activity would you like to coach?
I had actually told somebody I had the opportunity to score a UIL event. Last year it was ready writing. And then we also did, I know, isn't that wild?
Just say no.
No, but it was fun. And then there was another one where they had to, like, not read the passage, but they had it kind of memorized, and they had to, like, perform the passage. And I was just
like modern oratory or whatever it is?
I don't remember what it was called, but I was just, like, so taken away with these kids and their ability to, like, perform. And I'm like, you're like 11. This is wild. I don't know. I mean, like, if I'm not involved in cheer, I just...
You're just chasing your kids. And
yeah, I mean, they keep me real busy.
Yes.
I'm really excited to be teaching, like, a core subject again. What a nerd. I love math. And
Yeah.
I
get that.
I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, y'all are
That's
nerds. No, I'm just kidding.
What about you, Meagan?
Where I'm from, I was the Beta Club sponsor. I really enjoyed the Honor Society stuff. I mean, obviously, that's a whole new undertaking with things like this, but I really enjoyed like the service community project stuff, which we actually have the pleasure of doing as cheer.
Yes.
We serve the community in a lot of ways. The girls do, and
Because they represent a lot of what
they do.
school,
A lot of merit opportunities
Yes.
and volunteer projects and things like that. So I really enjoy that part of it, and I enjoyed that part of it from where I'm from. So I would probably do some sort of a
service group,
volunteer service group. Yeah,
I love that.
Love that.
Okay, what's one fun fact about you that most people don't know? You have a hidden talent or something?
I'm allergic to hedgehogs.
What?
I'm allergic to guinea pigs. Are you really allergic?
No, I love that y'all are still finding things out about each other and you spent so much time together.
We basically lived with each other for 3 years. Had no clue.
No, so I used to work for
That's really interesting that you know this.
an exotic animal rehoming. They were out of Houston, but we listen. They were out of Houston, but they were
Specific.
they were housed at Gator Country. So this is
okay.
like right after I graduated high school. I worked for them for a summer through Christmas. And so, like, I was at Gator Country every day. It was a ton of fun. But we had exotic animals, and I was messing with the hedgehogs one day, and I all of a sudden got real itchy. I was like, God, this is horrible. But I didn't know what it was. And then, like, 2 days later, it was time for the hedgehog's bath again, and I was like, hey, I'll do it. They're so cute. Have you ever seen their little hands? Like, they have people hands, but they're tiny. I was like, I'll do it. So I get with them again, but this time it's like, you know, whenever you're exposed to an allergen, like the next time you're exposed to it, it's worse. And every time you're exposed to it, it gets, well, the second time I ended up at St. Elizabeth in the ER with an EpiPen injection. It was wild.
Oh, you actually
they had to do
you
an
had a
EpiPen.
stab? You had to get stabbed with the
in my
EpiPen?
thigh, yes. It was horrible. It hurt really bad.
Did it work?
It did. Like,
Wait,
so,
I have another question. Do you have to put that on your allergies?
I never have. I mean, what's the likelihood that I'm going to encounter
Come
a
in
hedgehog?
contact with a hedgehog. That's funny though. I don't think I've ever talked to someone who actually has had the EpiPen injection.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
In my
You are
leg.
so
It hurt real bad
talented.
through my jeans.
And it works through your jeans, and
It
they
did.
tell you that all the time.
Yeah,
You can even go through jeans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the paramedics weren't getting there, and my throat was closing up, and they were like, "Let's go ahead and get this done. Let just in case. Like, what's it gonna hurt?"
Yeah.
If you're having an allergic reaction, it has an intended purpose, and it worked. But did y'all know that hedgehogs, like, their defense mechanism is not their porcupines, like it's not their spines.
Oh, really?
They actually salivate an enzyme, and then they'll like spit in their hands and rub it on their quills. So whenever something bites them,
So that's probably what you're.
it's like the numbing
like their
agent or whatever
dander
that's in
almost.
their enzymes. And that's what I was allergic to.
It's so random.
You asked for random. That's,
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
that's-
that is so great. Wow, I don't know how you're gonna match that, Meagan. Do you have another? Do you have a fun fact? But other than being allergic to, what'd you say, gerbils?
Hedgehog spit.
Yes. What were you allergic to? Guinea pigs.
I'm allergic to guinea pig dander.
Did you have a guinea pig at one point?
I did. My son did.
Oh, so sad for him.
Okay. Okay. The hedgehog spit got me.
What's one fun fact about you that most people don't know?
Something that normally shocks my students is that I would actually also be, I would qualify to teach for CTE in the criminal justice system.
Oh, wow.
I was about to say.
Okay.
Save yourself some editing.
All right. So, what's your go-to pump-up song or routine before a big performance? Did y'all have like a song, or I know they do this little
So
chant.
many songs.
They do they still do their little chant? Do they make a little chant that they do before they perform?
Oh.
They do the
Yeah, they do that little thing.
Get
Yeah.
loud, big blue. BLUE, get loud, big blue.
Is that what
Right
they say?
before we would go on stage, we would circle up, we would pray, and then we would, right foot in, pray. And then we would pray, or Riley Sulik, one of our seniors, would pray over the team this year. And then after that, Parker or Kennedy would start this chant, get loud, big blue, B-L-U-E, get loud. And as we go through it, we get louder. And I mean, it really kind of takes you over, and there's really nothing to do other than be like, yes, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know, we break, get loud, big blue, real big, and then you go on the stage.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we did every year. A song, I mean, it really just depended on their mood.
Yeah. Because they're girls.
Song was on
most of them are moody.
Yeah, well, I mean.
Actually, Josh was normally our
But,
go-to DJ.
Yeah. DJ, okay.
And
that was
he would
job.
like, nope, tired of this one, click.
Yeah,
and everyone else would be like, hey, change it.
Because he could listen to a whole one. We just go to the next one.
He was our resident.
I kind of
resident
appreciate
DJ.
that sometimes, except for when you're getting to the good part and then they change it. Yeah. Oh, yes. All right. We'll jump back in a few other questions and then we'll kind of close this out. But, all right, we talked about balancing schoolwork and extracurriculars and competition time. How do you teach these kids to handle that pressure and nerves? I know that's always a big element getting in there. You could talk about the endurance and building up your stamina, but when it comes to not freaking out, I mean, on the stage,
how to perform the day of, like at that moment. You know, there's always a joke, like whenever coach says one more time.
Yeah.
And it's never just one more time.
Yep.
But there's a reason behind that. You know, fix this, fix that, perfect this, perfect that. But also with that one more time becomes just a little bit more muscle memory.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever they get out there, you know, you never really know how some of them are going to react to adrenaline. So we want their body to be super ready and have that muscle memory ready to perform. So that one more time allows them that muscle memory where they're not relying on five, you know, what goes with five, what goes with, they know it. Like their body, they hear the song and their body automatically does it because muscle memory is an awesome thing. So, you know, at that point, it just becomes, like I said earlier, you know, like it becomes an emotional and a mental thing, and that push through.
Well, and then with it, every time that they do it, they build more confidence in what they're doing.
Yes.
And so they can add a little bit more, I don't know, some parts of that showmanship in there to really engage the crowd.
Well, also, we figure out, you know, through the year that, like, they actually respond better if you don't hype them up too much. Because, like, don't do more, so much more, because then something's going to happen. Just do what you do every day on that mat, and just do it the best day.
That's true.
Like, just have the best practice day on that mat. And, like, the repetition is what really gets them, because, like, they're just so used to it. So.
And, I mean, we can be real here. Every practice isn't the best. And you've had moments where you felt like, man, we just took 3 steps back, or you have injuries. You have people who it's probably not as common, but they could be ineligible for different reasons. But you're having to overcome those kind of battles, and you don't know what's going on outside of cheer with their home life or their personal lives, or what they failed a test at school that day. There's so much that comes into that practice at the end of the day.
There's a million obstacles to get to that one.
And so sometimes the challenge is building on the setbacks, because and how to use that setback. And I know I've never, you know, I've never been in a full practice with y'all. Well, I don't think I have, but anyways. But I know that as a successful coach that y'all are teaching life lessons too. So you're not just teaching them about how this helps you here in this routine and us to win whatever we want to win. It's also about, like, teaching them how this is going to help you be a better person, and how this is going to be, you know, for the future.
That has always been Hernandez's thing, is like, hey, we're not actually teaching them just cheer. We also want them to be better humans. And that's not only her thing, but mine. Like I feel like I have raised them in some way, because they're like, hey, Mom. No, wait, hold on. Because like we try to take care of them and teach them to be good people as well as good cheerleaders and good students, and, you know, all of the things. So hopefully we did teach them some life lessons.
Yeah, and you had made a comment to Parker earlier, and I don't remember if it was you that made that to me, but I know I've used it with several. Like, don't let this be the biggest thing that you ever do. Like, this should be a small thing that pushes you to do bigger things. And, like, where was I going with that? God, don't
And
it.
you probably use that same mindset.
Yeah,
for
I
other
do.
things.
We talk about like how this is not going to be the biggest thing that you do, but it is the biggest thing right now.
Yeah.
So, do it to the best of your ability. And you're right, like they come in with, wild things happening outside of school, wild things happening in school, like, I mean, they're teenagers and there's a lot going on. And, some of them have overcome obstacles that I don't know if I would have overcome it as a teenager.
Right.
I've had a lot of kids with a lot of different things, and seeing them, just consistently succeed is very rewarding, and it's a wonderful thing to watch them grow. And I had a conversation with one of my athletes about how, they were just kind of put out with how busy they were and how tired they were, and like the demand of everything that they had committed to. And cheer was the one thing that they were like, I'm just not. And I was like, instead of having that mindset, instead of doing like, switch it to, I get to do this. Like, this is, something that I've worked for, and not every kid gets to do this. And it kind of changes the way they look, and it kind of takes off the pressure of I have to be here. It's not I have to be here, it's I get to be here. And, seeing them and the positive impact that has on them, being able to get to do this, and then, setting up a goal and actually doing it is extremely rewarding.
That is something that we did get to watch this year. Is no matter what they were going through, no matter the bad days, because all of them have bad days at some point. They're teenagers. It's a rough to be a teenager, but they would come in and they'd get on the mat, and no matter what it was, they would reset and give what they could for the day, and that is all we can ask, and they did it every time.
Yeah. And I know that you guys felt that same way, but as a coach, you learned just as much from them as they learned from you, if not more.
I told them at the banquet this year, I don't know that they'll ever understand how much they taught me.
Yeah.
They'll never know. And if they do figure it out, like, awesome.
Yeah.
They'll never know what they taught me about myself, what they taught me about all of the things that we've done. Like, it's such an honor to be able to watch them grow up.
Yep. Well, let's talk about the future then. And we have some really talented cheerleaders coming from middle school. So it's three years in a row that middle school has won NCAA National Championships in game day. And so we're starting to see the fruits of that labor, coming up. That's really awesome because your foundation is set there of the excellence that the program stands for, and then you have people who are buying into that, the younger kids that are buying into that and wanting to aspire for that. And so it's easier to connect those dots when you have that. So tell us what you're most excited about for the future for Lumberton cheer.
I'll let you answer that one.
All right, so I would say that we're just gonna hope for them to continue as like a strong and hardworking team, because that's what we've seen in the past several years, and that is what has made them what they are. We really want to make sure that they have emphasis on like being a family, because like they take care of each other, they're with each other, they care about each other, and what is it like? Do it for the person beside you.
Yeah.
That's really what, relying on each other and working hard is what made them so successful, and that's the expectation for the future. Like you said, the middle school is helping us build such a strong program from their program, that we anticipate it, like them growing as athletes, but also growing as people, individuals, and of course making the memories that are going to last them a lifetime, which is what the seniors that are leaving us hopefully have, and all the rest of them coming up.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you spoke about this a little bit too, but it's also attributing back to all the people that have come before. And making them proud as well, because then now as they graduate, they're going to be those people as well. So that's really cool. Well, as somebody who is an alumni of Lumberton cheer and a former Lumberton cheer coach, I just want to tell you, just telling you I'm proud of you is not enough, but just super impressed by your leadership this year, both of you, and what you've been able to accomplish and the things that you've overcome, because there's been a lot of obstacles thrown your way, and I'm really proud of it, because you guys have turned lemons into lemonade, and you have not always had the control over the hand that you've been dealt, but what you've done with that is teaching those girls how to take that hand and to just go out and serve and serve their communities and serve their schools and represent well. And I think that's really a life lesson that they're going to take from here on out and all that they do in their jobs and their families in the future in their community. So I'm proud of you guys and proud to be cheering for you guys as y'all go forth in different ways from here on out. But thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having
and giving
us.
your time away from your own children and families, and at the end of a long day of teaching. I know that sometimes is hard and hard to gather your thoughts, but you guys have done great. It's been really fun to be in here and talk, and we probably could sit here and talk about cheer stuff for a long time.
I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it.
So, well, that kind of wraps up today's episode of Raider Reach. We hope that you enjoyed hearing the stories that make our district and community so special. Let's remember, it's all about making that impact. The classrooms, the cheer mat, the football field, wherever it is, our lives and in our world. And you can find us on all podcast platforms. So be sure to subscribe and share this episode with others in our community. And join us next time as we continue to reach out and share more Raider stories. But until then, let's stay connected, let's stay inspired, and keep making an impact. Bye!
Bye.
Go Raiders!